Ruckert, and it's unusual for me to greet people here in the cemetery because I usually see all my friends and neighbors down at the store, which is on the corner here where the Pioneer store is now. But today, and you know we do have the best penny candy around. Absolutely. So today, however, I'd like to tell you a little bit about my family, 4 of whom are buried here, including myself. My parents, and I'm going to pass around some photos. Parents, Chris, there's a lot, and Johanna, emigrated from Prussia in 1871, and they came to Racine with their 3 children, and also a number of many other German immigrants. That seemed to be a popular place to go. And then they were there for about. Well, actually, I don't know exactly how long they were there, but they started seeing advertisements for logging and farming up north. So they got on the sailing ship and came up to Raleigh's Bay in 1874. And then in 1878, they bought a farm up on top of Ellison Bay Hill near the Johnsons and Files properties, and Chris started logging and farming. And in fact, he sold wood to John Eliason down in town. He had the receipt for that, as a matter of fact. Now, Chris and Johanna, and these are their 2 tombstones there, were among the founding, I think there were 4 founding families of the German Lutheran Church here in Ellison Bay. And that church is the log building up on top of the hill for the Liberty Grove Historical Society. It's the original church. Now, take a look at the picture of Johanna. Do you notice how her eyes sort of follow you wherever you are? And she looks rather ominous. The reason for that is that the photo was taken after she had died. And that was a common practice of the day, and a way for families to remember their loved ones for generations to come. In fact, we would be the 4th generation after her, or 3rd, I guess. But our grandkids would be the 5th. Now, I was only 4 when I came with my parents from Prussia, and we settled in Algoma. And then when I was a young woman, I came up to work for Marie File at the boarding house, which is where the hillside sits today. And that was a hotel boarding house, more of a boarding house. And many of the Wisconsin chair company loggers stayed there, and other personnel. In fact, they had the only telephone in the area because paid for by the Wisconsin Chair Company, because they had to have contact with their employees. Now, when I was staying there at the motel, or at the boarding house, I met a fellow boarder, Andrew Metcalf. He was the town blacksmith. And we married shortly after that. His blacksmith shop, pardon the rain, sat here on the corner where the parking lot is for the Viking at this time. And I can remember, I know that that was there for many years after my passing. You too. Andrew bought the boarding house from Marie File in 1882. And then our daughter May was born in 1883. But then tragedy struck the next year, and my Andrew was killed by a falling tree. It's still difficult. And it's not easy for a young widow who is both the mother of a small child and running a boarding house full time. But every cloud, as they say, has a silver lining. A young logger named Charles Ruckert began courting me, and we married in 1885. During the next 15 years, we ran the boarding house and proceeded to have 5 more children. As the children grew older, though, we realized that running a boarding house was not what we wanted to do any longer. So in 1900, Charles and Hans Hansen built a general store over there where the Pioneer is today. But arguments over the store's name, whose name is going to be first on the sign, caused Charles to buy out Hans, and with the help of a loan from the Bank of Sturgeon Bay, which was there at that time. When the store opened, we instituted a charge account system so that fishermen and farmers could buy their supplies on credit until either the crop came in or they had a good fish and catch. Ruckert's store adapted to the needs of the community over the years as time passed. We stocked groceries, paints, kitchenware, hardware, sewing needs, clothing, and much more. All the way from ammunition to whatever it was, you could find it. And then, in 1904, it also became the town post office, with Charles as postmaster. Our family lived above the store, and during these years I supervised the household. Between cooking, cleaning, doing laundry, tending to the needs of our children, and entertaining, I was always busy. Of course, the children all helped. It was a challenging life. Sometimes it was worrisome, such as when supplies in the town were running short in a hard winter and the roads were impassable. In fact, there weren't very many roads at all at that time. Charles and another man would then take the team-pulled sled across the ice to Menominee to bring back food and other necessities for the store and for the people of the community. Often there were cracks in the ice. It was a dangerous trip, and Charles usually arrived home after dark. I would always put a lantern in the upstairs rear window of the store so that he would be able to find his way back to us, and I always worried until he was in the door. In 1929, our son Walter returned to Ellison Bay with his family and took over the running of the store. Charles was not well, and then he passed that year. Then the family built the summer cottage behind the store. Thereafter, I spent my winters living above the store with Walter and his family, and the summers in the cottage, where my other children and their families could come for visits. I want to thank you for coming today. I hope you enjoy your time learning about the various pioneering families of Ellison Bay.